Welcome back to the Stretch to Floor podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm joined by Venush. And I'm glad that we are not looking at a potential sweep today for the Heat because it was looking like that game 4. But um, Jimmy Butler put in one of the best finals performances pretty much of all time. Uh, and the Heat are looking at possibly tying up the series tonight. Bam is still questionable, doubtful. Dragic is pretty much definitely a no, probably for the rest of the series. But it should be a really good game tonight. And I guess let's just start right away. What are your thoughts so far in the first 3 games? Because we haven't talked since the final started.
Yeah, so it's kind of unfortunate because they lost their best defender, they lost their leading scorer, and to be fair, I thought it was going to be a sweep when both those guys went out.
Yeah,
So
same.
it was kind of unfortunate. People are kind of waiting for this to end, the finals, more as enjoying the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Game one, the Masked Singer got more views than the NBA Finals Game One.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's definitely it lacks the star power that most finals have. And for the Heat to win, because that's what most people are going to talk about recent game, it required Jimmy Butler to have the second best game ever in the finals according to game score, since the only game that beat it was 2016 LeBron James in game 6. So for us to expect this performance or something similar to get from Jimmy Butler is unrealistic. So my prediction stands, it's still going to be Lakers at 5, and it's going to be a pretty easy and boring series though.
Yeah. So Jimmy pretty much gave you probably what's going to be the best performance of his entire career,
Yeah.
and they still barely won.
Mhm.
With Anthony Davis playing the worst game of the playoffs for him, so
LeBron
far.
traveling.
LeBron was not great in the fourth quarter in the second half,
Yeah.
especially. Um, so if Davis pretty much gives you anything, if he gives you his average of 28, 26, 27, whatever, Lakers are winning that game. I don't expect to see that again from Davis. I don't really know what was going on with the whole Laker team. That's probably the in game 1, at least the first half of game 1, we saw probably the best possible version of the Lakers supporting cast. They were making threes. It looked pretty decent. Danny Green actually had a decent game, but you got 5 points from KCP in like 25 minutes in game 3, and you got 2 points from Danny Green. Um, and that could very well happen again tonight
Yeah.
and for the rest of the series. But I think if Davis gives you pretty much anything, doesn't get 4 fouls in the first half, it should be an easy Laker win. I think if Bam plays or doesn't play, obviously that's a big factor. I don't think he's going to play personally. I'll keep checking my phone throughout the podcast to see if
Yeah.
there's any updates, but yeah.
It's kind of a wrap this series because when you lose your leading scorer, no one expects you to win a series. I think that can happen anywhere besides the first round. Like if a team loses their
Mhm.
leading scorer, you're gonna be like, oh man, that sucks. They're gonna lose the series. Like
Mhm.
any team, it's impossible to win. It's impossible to win a series in the
Yeah.
finals losing your leading scorer.
Yeah.
People underestimate how important Goran Dragic was to this team and how much pressure he took off Jimmy. And everyone knows, even if Bam plays, they still don't have that guy that could go get you the bucket in the clutch. I know it's supposed to be Jimmy, but now everyone knows it's going to be Jimmy. So
Mhm.
it's going to be tough. It's just too simplistic, this team, the way it boils down. It's Jimmy Butler touching the ball every single
Yeah.
play, scoring every single time, and
Yeah.
passing. It's too hard. It's too much on him.
Well, when you take out the starting point guard and you take away the best playmaker, which was the center, yeah, the
Yeah.
offense is going to be simplistic. They
Hmm.
were actually not in game 2, but in game 3, Olynyk and Leonard were actually kind of able to to kind of pick up the slack for Bam on offense at least, and
Yeah.
they just kind of bothered Davis and tried to get him out of rhythm on the defensive end. I don't think that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, offensively, they didn't even play that much better than they normally do. They just because they scored the same number of points pretty much as their average. Defensively, it was just the fouls and the just horrible games by KCP, Danny Green. You did get a good game from Kuzma and Markieff Morris. Um, but other than that, if we knew this all along, if Davis and LeBron don't give you pretty much a combined 60, they're probably not going to win. But they have been
Yeah.
giving you that every game so far, and I think that's going to happen again tonight.
Yeah, and we also can't let LeBron off the line too, because he had some awful
Oh
turnovers
man,
to
yeah.
end that game. He had two uncontested like travels. He had the ball poked from behind him.
Hmm.
Like he was having an awful game too, and that's not gonna happen again. Like
No.
we really haven't seen like that happen to LeBron in the finals ever until like that game. So much credit
Yeah.
to the Heat defense, but if you could do it again, then you could make believers out of us. But it's just gonna be tough.
Yeah. I mean, it was obvious that even LeBron, but pretty much everyone outside of LeBron didn't show up to this game. LeBron obviously knows what it takes to win in the finals. No, you know you can't take any games off, but no one else. I mean, Danny Green, but Danny Green's like the worst player in the NBA.
Hmm.
They kind of coasted. Davis, his effort wasn't there. All the other guys, it just wasn't there. And now that they've seen what happens if you don't treat every game like it's a game seven, then I think they should be fine tonight.
Yeah, and this roster is kind of people forget like it has a lot of like Shaqting a fool like
Yeah,
MVPs and a lot
JaVale
of
McGee,
Shaqting
Kyle
of
Kuzma,
yeah.
Danny Green, KCP, Alex Caruso.
Like these aren't the players that are like that are known for like always playing hard and always giving the 100%. Yeah, sometimes their focus does drift. And that's why
Hmm.
I gave LeBron and Rondo so much credit for, you know, using this locker room to its maximum potential.
Yep.
And when they're up 2-0 and two out of the three best players aren't playing against them, like the
Hmm.
oppositions, they just they just relaxed. They just said, okay, we're just gonna let LeBron and Anthony Davis do their thing, and we're just gonna kind of stand around and see what happens. And they missed all their shots. They weren't playing great defense, and LeBron and Anthony Davis couldn't bail them out again. So
Yep.
I think now that they see this loss, they're gonna definitely focus back in, and they're gonna give a great performance on the defensive end like they usually do. And it's probably gonna be another double-digit win for the Lakers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like we said, I think it can only get worse for Jimmy. I mean, I know he's going to play well, but
Yeah,
he's not going to play that well. 40 points, not attempting a three, triple
second
double.
best.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Um, the one thing that can happen is Duncan Robinson has pretty much been no like he hasn't shown up at all in the first three games. I think he's shooting under 30% from 3-point line, or maybe around 30. So maybe if he shows up, if you get Hero good the whole game instead of just the fourth quarter. Um, Jay Crowder, I don't know. Like the Miami can be better on offense, but I don't think we're gonna see this. That Anthony Davis has been the one killing them the whole series.
Mhm.
And I think, like I said, we're gonna see that again for the rest of the series.
Yeah, and the thing with Duncan Robinson is JJ Redick talked about this is how the Lakers play small shooters is they sometimes bring a double and sometimes don't. And that really confuses the player because sometimes instead of looking straight to shoot, which is what Duncan
Hmm.
Robinson's kind of known for, like he's expecting a double and he's expecting like that drop off pass. And JJ Redick was talking about how much the Lakers bothered him with that system and kind of made him have one of his worst games in the season. And like we could see that with Duncan Robinson. We could see Eric Spoelstra kind of yelling at him like it's like it's the beginning of the season where Duncan
Yep.
Robinson doesn't have the confidence, and
Yep.
he's like, shoot, you could see Spoelstra like even
Hmm.
there was reports of it that Spoelstra was screaming in Duncan Robinson's face that he needs to just shoot and be more confident. But that's what happens when you get this is a rookie. Like Duncan Robinson is 26, but he still doesn't have that much NBA experience, and he definitely doesn't have that much playoff experience. So you could see these switches and coverages that are focused on him really affecting him and really bothering him. And if he wants to make a next step like a JJ Redick and become a very solid NBA player who's going to have a 10 plus long 10-year career, he's going to have to get adjusted to these coverages.
Yeah, and you can run that stuff at him when Bam and Dragic are off the floor when they're not
Yeah,
there. Kendrick Nunn, I mean, he scored like 18 points in garbage time. The whole all of game one was pretty much garbage time, so that means nothing to me. He was not good in game three at all. 4 points, I think. Um, yeah, so you can definitely focus more defensive attention. And Duncan Robinson, like you said, whenever he has to do anything other than shoot, or as part of the play that was drawn up, if he has to improvise at all, that's
yeah.
how you expose his weaknesses, and that's what they've been doing. Um,
And with Kendrick Nunn, I just want to give him a pass because he hasn't played basketball in 4 months, the lockdown, and then he got coronavirus right
Yeah.
before the bubble, and then
Yeah.
he never got any playing time in the regular season games, the first round, second round, and the
Mm-hmm.
conference finals. So
Yeah.
like he's going to be bad. Like you have to expect that from him. Like
Mm-hmm.
Spoelstra is not expecting him to be what he was. Spoelstra just expecting him to play defense on Rondo, kind of disrupt him, and he was doing that. He did have good switches. A couple, even that nice block against Anthony Davis, which is probably going to be, in my opinion, that's his defining career moment right now, at least.
Probably. Yeah.
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 So like he's definitely showing up. He's definitely playing with effort. And the difference between him and like a Tyler Hero or a Duncan Robinson is even though he's smaller than both those players, he has a lot of athleticism
Mm-hmm.
that can make up for it. We've seen with that cut block on AD, like he could get to places quicker. And when he's on them, like the zone just kind of plays a little better because he's a little quicker than those guys. So defensively, he's better, but he needs to get better shooting, which I don't think is going to happen in this series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the main
So
change the
yeah.
Heat made, is they stopped switching on everything, which is kind of stopped them because before it was LeBron on Duncan Robinson, get that
Yeah.
switch,
Yeah.
score,
Mm-hmm.
and or get the ball to Anthony Davis and just kind of score at will. And they said, no, we're not going to switch anymore. We're going to let Duncan Robinson guard Danny Green and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked out for them. So we're going to see how LeBron tackles that.
Yeah, that's a good point because and they played a lot like the usage of zone has been kind of all over the place.
Hmm.
They didn't use it too much in their win, and
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna stick with that or if they're just gonna keep throwing different things, keep changing it up to try to keep the Lakers um guessing. And if they can somehow pull this game, if they can somehow tie the series up now, and then they get I think Friday's the next game, maybe Bam is able to come back by then.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah. I guess that's a good time to talk about our predictions for the rest of the series. Obviously, I think it completely depends on who comes back for Miami. Even if they
Yeah.
both come back, which is not going to happen. Dragic, it hasn't been confirmed, but he tore his foot. He's not
Yeah.
coming back. Bam possibly could, and if if he's 100%, I don't think
It's
he's
not
going
going
to
to
be
be.
100% because if he was going to be 100% in 3 days, he would have been back already. I
Yeah.
think so. I don't know how much of an impact that's going to make. I I'm gonna go with you. Lakers in 5. I had 6 originally, but I think Lakers win the next 2 games.
Yeah, I still have Lakers in 5. I knew Jimmy Butler was too much of a dog to get swept.
Mm,
So this is his best career season. I had him as the second best small forward, which is
mm-hmm.
looking pretty good right now. I only had him behind Kawhi.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a pretty good prediction for me. And he's too much of a dog this season. This is his career season. He'll
yeah.
never be the guy again, in my opinion, on a finals team because Miami's definitely gonna get someone big. And this was the Jimmy Butler season. This was the recruiting pitch.
Mm.
People like to
Couldn't be
say
a better recruiting pitch,
couldn't be a
honestly.
better recruiting pitch. Join this finals team that plays
Yeah,
hard and you get to be the leading scorer.
yeah,
Oh man, that's the best pitch in the world.
yeah.
They're gonna get someone great, and Jimmy Butler did good, but he's gonna lose to LeBron.
I think so. And yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think I do. Yeah, I agree. It comes down to tonight. I think if they don't pull tonight, I don't think they're gonna have any chance of. I think they're just gonna be so deflated. They're not gonna be able to take Game 6, and it'll just be a 5 game series. But
Yeah,
that being said, I like we already talked about. I don't think they're going to win tonight. I honestly
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know what
think
else
so
to
too.
say. Like this seems like a pretty simple
Yeah,
open and shut thing. The only thing the thing that's been talked about more than the actual game itself is the impact on LeBron's legacy slash AD's place in like all time players and all that stuff. And that's even if the Lakers win the championship, that's the only thing that's going to be talked about. I think,
yeah,
especially if Anthony Davis wins the Finals MVP, which
he's going to.
after through 2 games I thought was a lock. Through after 3 games, it's probably closer.
Yeah,
Um, and especially if Bam doesn't come back, I think AD is probably the favorite to win Finals MVP.
hmm
Um, what are your thoughts?
I've seen fans take LeBron's side and say he should deserve Finals MVP. I haven't seen a single media member say LeBron's Finals MVP, they're kind of like Anthony Davis take this award. Anthony Davis took this award. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and correct me if I'm wrong, they're the ones getting the votes. So it's gonna be tough for LeBron to win Finals MVP. Like Anthony Davis has to have another one of these games, but the Lakers
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
So I can't see that happening. And it's gonna impact this championship might impact LeBron's legacy in a negative connotation,
I know, right? It's crazy.
which is crazy to
I
say,
know.
but like when you bring up Kobe Bryant, what people always say is, how many finals MVP does he have? Yes, he has 5 rings, but he only has 2 finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say LeBron has 3. LeBron's already greater than him, you know what I mean? That's what they always bring up. They say bring up finals MVP, and
Mm-hmm.
they use that as your worth and your contribution to a team, which is kind of fair because it means someone was comparable to LeBron James in those finals runs. Whereas Michael Jordan, no one was comparable in those finals run compared to him. Like Scottie Pippen was a great player, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a question. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Is he gonna win the finals? Is he gonna win the finals? It wasn't. Is he gonna win Finals MVP?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like, it's interesting. I obviously want LeBron to win Finals MVP because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a championship to be discounted because it's not going to impact AD in a negative way. You know what I mean? Like when we
No. Yeah.
compare Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan, we don't say Kevin Garnett doesn't have a Finals
No. No.
MVP,
No.
so he doesn't have a
This
championship really.
this is just going to be AD's first ring.
Yeah,
And if LeBron wins, it's going to be LeBron's ring
fourth.
without a Finals MVP.
Yeah,
His first ring without being the best player on the team.
yeah,
And I don't know. I don't even know if that's fair because I still think LeBron is the best player on the team.
I
But
do too.
when you look at like it's kind of stacked against him. Bam Adebayo is missing the whole series. He's the only guy who on that roster who has even like a prayer of handling Anthony Davis down
Hmm.
low. Obviously Davis is going to go off. Like
Yeah,
that's it's not really fair to LeBron. He hasn't been bad. Uh, but Davis's numbers are just obviously going to look better because that's the advantage the Lakers have over the Heat is the size in the front court. And how do
yeah,
you take advantage of that as you play through Davis?
yeah,
And if LeBron wants to win, which he wants to do, is you're going to feed Davis, right?
yeah,
So that's I don't know. That's just how it's going to work. But I think you made a good point in when you said Davis has to have another performance like that and they win.
yeah,
Because we saw Davis had one bad performance and LeBron had a pretty good performance, pretty average at least by the numbers for him.
yeah. Average for
Um,
LeBron.
Davis had a bad performance and they lost.
Yeah.
So the team kind of goes the way Davis goes,
Hmm.
and that loss could actually maybe benefit Davis's case for the Finals MVP.
Yeah, it might because it's shown like he's the key player and he's a star. The closest that I could compare this to that I remember is like when Miami Heat won the championship with Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
All the teams in those early 2000s were built to guard Shaq because they knew Shaq was going to be good. And to win a championship, you have to beat Shaq. So they
Mm-hmm.
all had big 7-foot defenders. They had 3 of them that could just kind of foul Shaq, that are just kind of body up on Shaq. And Shaq did the right thing in that series. And after 2 losses, he deferred to Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade scored like 40 a game and won them the championship. But does
Yeah,
that? But when we look back at that, everyone says that was Dwayne Wade's championship with Shaq as a 2. Like no one remembers anything besides the finals, and it's just crazy because that's how this Davis might be remembered too. Because it might be Davis came in and made this a great defensive team. Because we remember how bad they were defensively
that
before.
that's a good point. I
Yeah,
think I don't know. I think Davis does deserve Finals MVP, and I want him to get it, not because I don't want LeBron to get it, just because I don't want I don't want him to be robbed of a Finals MVP that he deserves. But I don't
like
want to hear
Steph.
the I don't want to hear the LeBron like uh the negative impact on his legacy. I'm sorry, but he is the best player on this championship team, and they are going to win the championship.
Yeah,
He's just he's just playing a lot. He the team is playing through Davis, which is their best option to win the series, and
mhm.
that's just going to result in better numbers for Davis. Um, I just got an update saying Bam plans to play in Game 4.
Yeah, but he
Um,
planned to play in Game
that
3 as well.
doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement for him being
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
So I don't think that really impacts the series at all. We'll see if he actually does play.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, if he does come in and he's able to hold Davis to, 26 instead of 40,
Yeah.
maybe this Finals MVP swings the other way. And I
Yeah.
don't think it swings the series. Maybe possibly just the Finals MVP, which
Yeah.
I don't really want to spend too much time talking about because I think it's kind of pointless. But
We say it's pointless, but at the end of the day, that's what really separates LeBron and Jordan from Kareem and even the other greats. Because Kareem, obviously, Magic won one of those Finals MVPs. Steph didn't win all his Finals MVPs. Kobe didn't win all his Finals MVPs. Shaq didn't win in all his. Tim Duncan didn't win all his. So that's what really separates Kobe,
mm,
not Kobe, Jordan and LeBron. As in, for them to win, they had to be the best player, and they were the best player for their whole careers, basically. And this, it's going to be talked about so much. Like
oh my God,
once like Michael Jordan versus LeBron is going to be talked about till the next season starts,
uh,
or until we start getting trades.
we're gonna hear Lakers championship talks for about not even 24 hours, and then
Yeah,
it's gonna be just a full off season of LeBron. If LeBron does win the Finals MVP, LeBron, is he on the level of Jordan? And if he doesn't, it's gonna be how much worse than LeBron is Jordan? Is LeBron
yeah,
washed? All this, I hate that stuff. But yeah, you're
yeah,
right. That's what's gonna happen because maybe 6 months from now we'll look back and we'll remember that they were pretty comparable in the finals, and then it just kind of had to go to Davis.
yeah,
But 5 years from now we're gonna be, oh yeah, Davis won that Finals MVP, not
yeah.
LeBron.
Carried the Wash King.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Another question is, what does LeBron have to do to get his jersey retired by the Lakers?
Mm.
One championship enough, or because
Uh,
we know Pau Gasol probably is going to get his jersey retired,
mhm.
or should at least, when the season and fans come back, and he got two championships. LeBron got one championship, kind of more impactful than Pau Gasol. Like everyone will admit that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Those are Kobe's teams that Pau Gasol
Yeah,
won on.
yeah.
So I don't know what like is it retired after one championship? Like we talk about Kawhi's being retired, but that's because that was the Raptors' first championship.
Yeah,
This is the Lakers' 17th championship.
yeah. I think
So
I
I
think
don't
one
know.
championship is enough to do it if he plays those 4 years of his contract or whatever and is in the conference finals or finals every year. Even if he does just end up winning one chip, I think that's enough to get that jersey retired.
I think he signed a 3-year deal and he only played two. Like this will be a
Oh, it
second
was like a
one.
3+1, right? Yeah, so he could.
Yeah, it was a three plus
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So he's gonna play next season. If they make
Mm-hmm.
the conference finals, that's missed playoffs, championship, conference finals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See,
It's an interesting question.
this is what we're spending time talking about
Yeah.
before Game 4 of the NBA Finals. That
That's how you know it's not a
Yeah,
competitive series anymore.
yeah. I know it's so sad. Like
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know what else to talk about. I don't even
Yeah.
know how long this podcast has gone on, but yeah.
Another thing I see a lot is how does LeBron and AD rank in duels? People are saying this is
Mm,
LeBron's
yeah,
best teammate.
that's a good one. I think it is. I don't think it's his best team. I think it's the one that fits his style of play the best.
Really? I
But
think it's his best teammate.
yeah, okay. I mean, Dwayne Wade was pretty good, but
Yeah. But
yeah,
Dwayne Wade wasn't a top five player when he was
that's
playing
true.
with LeBron. It
That's
was
true.
before LeBron, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But it's these are the type of discussions.
yeah. These are the
Another one
times.
I see is Kobe, Shaq, Magic, Kareem,
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, and Anthony Davis. Like you can't put LeBron and Anthony Davis there yet. They only have one championship.
Yeah, no, 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 no. You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, but
I
that's about it.
guess I guess that's it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be a more exciting series. I mean, the series is going to be 100% over a week from now.
Yeah, next podcast.
So
Okay. We'll wrap
yeah,
up the
I
whole
mean,
bubble.
hopefully, we're talking about a very exciting final 3 game or final 4 games of the series. But I'm not really
Yeah.
expecting much.
Yeah, because people are gonna see like maybe we're haters for based on the Heat performance, but if Jimmy
Yeah,
Butler gets another game like this,
yeah,
call us haters. If he
yeah,
doesn't, then
yeah.
we're right.
Like if you're when you're missing your second and third best player, one
It's
of
not.
which is your leading scorer and the other of which is your best defensive player, who's the
Yeah,
only one of the only guys in the league who can even slow down Anthony Davis, you're gonna lose this series and probably a
yeah,
sweep. So it's like congrats to the Heat for winning one game. Like that's a huge accomplishment in itself.
yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
the way the Heat fans, if I was a Heat fan, I would look at this as the best ever recruitment video
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we thought that Clippers recruitment season last year was good when they
Yeah.
traded away all their players but still made the playoffs and had all this culture and everything. And now
And
within
it
a
worked.
season, all that culture's gone and their coach is fired and everyone hates each
Yeah.
other on the team. But yeah, this is the best recruitment season probably of
Ever.
all time. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So we'll talk about when's the off season gonna be open for trades? It's after the draft, no?
Is it
Can
after the draft?
trades?
Because like
Can,
I don't know. Because I mean, drafts happen like trades with picks happen on draft day all the time, right? Or do
yeah,
they
but
just happen like with the rights, the draft rights and stuff? Oh my god,
yeah, I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
the draft rights, but can players get traded before the draft? Like,
I think they
I think
can.
so. Could
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hopefully we get some trades
No, I
happening
know they
soon.
can. I don't know what the season is so confusing this off season.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that because we're gonna need a
and
lot of filler content.
yeah,
Because the next season I don't know if we talked about this, but the next season could be
no,
starting in March at
yeah.
the like
If
at
next
the latest.
if next season starts in March, we are gonna have so many top
Oh my
10
god,
lists. It's
so
gonna
many
be
top tens.
incredible. We're gonna be talking about Moses Malone and Isaiah Thomas so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Oh my god, we're gonna do like the Last Dance rewatch and like
Yeah,
our new takeaways on the Last Dance.
yeah, we're
How
gonna
does
have to
this?
watch all the other.
What are your thoughts on LeBron and Jordan's legacies now after the second rewatch?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
we're gonna have to watch like all the other documentaries too, the Carter
Yeah,
Effect, the
yeah,
Stephon Marbury. We're gonna have a
yeah,
whole episode on
yeah.
Stephon Marbury. Don't wait up for it, guys.
Whole episode. It could be like a whole month.
Whole month on Stephon
Yeah.
Marbury.
Okay, I
Yeah,
think we got to end that here. Um,
yeah,
so thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to come back next Monday when we're going to be recapping the end of the 2020 NBA Finals, which is hopefully more exciting than it's been so far.
yeah.